See that? Those are corporate critters in the middle of training. They're learning about slips, trips, and falls. A very good safety program corporate had come up with. You know, we as adult educators spend all of our time, effort, money, learning why adults learn. Most often they're learning because they want to learn. But what about when they're forced to learn? What do we do then?
I think the cause for immediate failure in most training programs is the idea that training is often used to wipe out poor performance or correct wrong behavior, when really it should be used to create a culture of good performance and right behavior. A good example is found in Lorraine L. Yukon's book, What Smart Trainers Know, of how one large corporation created a training program that improved their safety record by 40% in 1 year. They did this by making training a part of the workplace culture, not a grab and go, hope it sticks type of training. In the story, the stakeholders at all levels had involvement and responsibilities in the designing, planning, implementing of the programs. So those who know the work best contribute ideas, participate, and gain full satisfaction at achieving goals. When everyone is involved in the creation of a training program, everyone involved has a stake in the success or failure of the training program. Now, let's say we took the example from this story and we created our own culture of training for our corporate critters. What about the training process itself? How do we involve the transfer of information to our folks in their training program? Let's pay a visit to the corporate critters in the training room and flesh out the possibilities. Well, everyone in our corporation has busily been involved in the creation process of their training program. Let's talk about the dissemination of information. Recall when I started this presentation, I mentioned how adults will learn what they want to learn. But when the training appears to be forced upon the learner, how does the trainer make the information obtainable, interesting, or even fun? What is missing from most training sessions are more interactive activities. It is the interactive aspect of training that makes learning fun and interesting. Before we discuss the interactive activities, let's spend a little bit of time looking at how the learner processes information. I like to use David Kolb's learning cycle as my visual tool for how the learner processes information. To begin, the learner has an experience. Then the learner reflects on that experience, and then they will abstract on the experience. And abstract, in other words, they will make a decision on what to do with the experience. And then from there, once the decision is made, they'll move into action, and then it continues. When the trainer does nothing but lecture and read PowerPoint, the information gets stuck back here in the experience. More often than not, the learner will never achieve the reflection process because, well, they fell asleep halfway through the PowerPoint presentation. I like what Lillian H. Hill says in Sharon Merriam's book, The New Update on Adult Learning Theory. Information that is contextually embedded is easier to learn, meaning the information becomes a part of the everyday experience for the individual learner. Like in our earlier story of how the stakeholders developed the training program together, when the individuals make the information they learned a part of their workplace experience, their workplace culture, well, then the information means something more to them. So you can see why creating a culture of training will move the learner to reflection, abstraction, and to action. Okay, we need an example. Let's say we're having training today on forklift safety. We spent 20 minutes working through a PowerPoint discussion on forklift safety, and notice I said PowerPoint discussion. Now, take the crew, invite them to a forklift, show them how to act on what they had just learned. Now we can say that the learner can move to reflection, abstraction, and now they practice safe forklift procedures as their action. Other activities that are more interactive, how about breakout groups on filling out forms properly? More fun than watching it filled out on a PowerPoint. Or how about doing a case study about when someone did not act safely and discuss how it should have been done correctly as a group? There are hundreds of books on good training activities that are seriously underused. Is the trainer concerned that some folks will think less of them because they use games in their training session? that the learner might think the game used to test their newfound abilities was in some way remedial or first grade? Guess what? Ask the learner what the content of the training was, and I bet they can tell you.